Hi, I'm Dr. Maria Duffy from Pollok in Glasgow. Welcome to my visual lecture. I have a big interest in preventative medicine. And why? Because Pollok experiences up to 10 years less life expectancy than areas just 3 or 4 miles away. It doesn't have to be that way, and that's why I'm interested in preventative medicine. That can mean a lot of different things, from cancer screening to eating more fibre, drinking less, weighing less, smoking less, and so on and so forth. And all of these things are incredibly important, and I wouldn't want to minimise your efforts in any one category. But I want to focus on one intervention that has a big impact, that perhaps makes the biggest difference to your health. And it's tricky, because all these things are sort of overlapping. But I picked this intervention because of its breadth. It helps in so many different health problems, and that's what I find so exciting about it. Just to walk you through a quick list. So this intervention reduced the risk of type 2 diabetes by up to 50%, reduced the risk of colon cancer by up to 50%, and reduced the risk of breast cancer by up to 20%. It reduced the risk of early death by 30%, of osteoarthritis by up to 83%, reduced the risk of depression by up to 30%, and also dementia by up to 30%, and of coronary heart disease and stroke by up to 35%. And my favourite outcome is quality of life, which is really all of the above, and really about making your life better. And this treatment has been shown again and again to improve quality of life. So the question is, what's the medicine and what is 23.5 hours? The medicine was exercise, mostly walking, so not triathlons. And let me just put it a different way. I think what I'm asking you to do is, if you think about your typical day, there's 24 hours. And so you might spend most of your day, this varies obviously, but couch surfing, sitting at work, obviously sleeping. And what the evidence tells me is the best thing you can do for your health is to spend half an hour being active, maybe an hour. And that if you can do that, you can realise all the benefits I described in the previous slides. So, if exercise is the medicine, what's the dose? And when I think of dose, I mean how long, how often, and how intense. And I'm going to give you a slightly mixed message, but essentially more activity is better. But I must say that the rate of return seems to decline after 20 or 30 minutes a day, or more if you're a child, maybe an hour a day. We see a big difference when somebody goes from not doing anything to doing something, and after that the return is less efficient. But I think the critical point is mostly to think about your own styles and habits and cues, and how you might fit activity into your day. So it could be taking a half-hour walk every morning or in the evening. A dog's a great walking coach. And if you commute, getting off a stop early or taking the stairs. Pollok has a wealth of amenities, a great network of public paths, parks and woodland throughout. If your preference is for organised activities, there's a great number of these both in the centre and in community organisations and community centres around Pollok. The next way of thinking about this is the reverse, so what I call sitting disease. We know that being sedentary is bad for your health, and this has been quantified by research, who compared people who watch no TV to those who spend an average of 6 hours a day watching TV, and they can expect to live 5 years less. I mean, that is incredible. And then I think, well, who watches 6 hours a day of TV? It turns out that Scotland leads the UK for time spent watching TV. The viewing time for adults aged 55 and over was more than 6 hours a day on average. I find this fascinating, that we never think of TV as something that's bad for our health, but clearly it's as powerful as many other risk factors for chronic diseases. So I'm going to leave you with a quote from Hippocrates, who was a Greek doctor who lived more than 2,000 years ago. He's often called the father of medicine. And he said, walking is man's best medicine. And this may have some personal challenges for you if you're very busy with work or children, or you may be in pain. But my question for you is, can you limit your sitting and sleeping to just 23.5 hours a day? So, something to think about. Thank you very much.